Hello everyone and welcome back. This is your boy Ryan back with another Path of Exile 3.17 Siege of the Atlas video. This time it's all about league start suggestions and explanations of my personal league starter. So GGG has completely changed the whole endgame progression of PoE in this 3.17 expansion, including the addition of new endgame bosses, new map system, new Atlas skill tree and so much more. With all of this in mind, I went after a build that I am very comfortable with and is tested out multiple times in the past leagues to be very effective and efficient in terms of DPS when on a league start budget. We are going to start as a slave driver Spectre and then switch into skeleton mages after we get our necessary gears. The reason we are starting as a Spectre build is because skeleton mages lack on DPS until we get two core items into the build. One of them is going to be the Flesh Crafter body armor. Getting a 6 link of this armor is going to be very expensive on league start. About a week I think, because skeleton mages are extremely popular right now, so this body armor is going to be expensive on league start. The other thing that is needed to play skeleton mages is going to be the Dread Reckoning Jewel, which also goes for like 20 to 30 chaos on league start. But this is quite common drop, so you might get it, but if you don't have a Flesh Crafter, this build will lack a lot of damage. So we are starting with the Spectres to get ourselves some currency. So we get our body armor, we get our jewel, and maybe if we are lucky, we get a low-end cluster for our skele mages as well. The thing is that I don't want to start with a skeleton warrior build because that style of playing doesn't appeal to me. And the other reason is if we start as a skeleton warrior build, then we have to swap out like 50 or 60% of our skill gems. When we go and switch into the skele mages, we have to change our socket colors on our gears, and that is quite a hefty investment in terms of early game resources when considered that this is a league start situation. While as on slave driver specters, we are going to be using almost 90% of the gems that are on slave driver is going to be used on our skeleton mages as well. So this is going to be the main reason that we are going to start as a slave driver. Plus, this slave driver build doesn't require any kind of unique gears. It requires only one that is quite common drop. You might even get it during your story quest progression or act progressions as well. More on that later when we get into the gearing section of the video. So on the screen footage that you see is recorded with my golem build gears, which is absolutely terrible for specters. I'm using no curse, no buffs. Specters are on a 5 link and have level 5 support gems, and they still clear yellow maps quite easily. So with that said, now let's jump into the POB and explain what the build can do and what you are going to be aiming for. So here we have the POB for the starting slave driver Spectre for 3.17. This time I sacrificed a lot of damage by not taking the necromantic aegis, and I went full on defenses, and I went for maximum block that we can get, a lot of life on the tree, and with some mediocre gear. The stats on the left side, as you can see, we have around 5,000 life with a whopping 67% block chance and 68% spell block chance. We have around 12,000 armor that is without flasks and very bad gears. And we are rocking a close to 1 million Shaper DPS on our 4 ray specters, on our slave drivers that is. Now we are going for a lot of block nodes, as I said, and we are also taking the block mastery for 20 life gained on block. So this is gonna help out sustaining our life a lot. We are also anointing this node over here. This is very cheap. Tetsudo, I think. I can't really pseudo, I think the pronunciation for this, but whatever. This gives recover 30 life when you block. So we have 50 life gained on blocking, and we have close to max block chance. So that is quite a good layer of defenses. The other thing is that we are going for all the jewel sockets, and the rest of the thing is mostly the standard minion trees. And this is a level 90 tree, as you can see here. And the coins that we get after this is going to be all in the constitution nodes or the scion life wheel nodes to get ourselves more HP. So that is most of the tree. That's very generic. And for the masteries that we have on the minion masteries, we have minions penetrating 8% of the enemy's elemental resistances when they are cursed. We have conductivity, so we have the benefit of getting an additional 8% elemental penetration. The other minion node or mastery we have is minions leeching 1% damage as life on the defense, and then 20% increased effect of offerings on the offensive minion mastery. For our life mastery, we have 50 maximum life and 10% increased maximum life on the other one. We also have our determination with 25% increased mana reservation efficiency, and on the shield mastery, we have more block chance for the shields. And I already said about the block mastery over here, and that is going to be it for most of the tree. As for the ascendancy choices, we are going with mindless aggression and unnatural strength as our first two labs, and then on the third we are going for commander of darkness to get ourselves some elemental resistances, and our uber lab is going to be mistress of sacrifice, so we can take advantage of the offering skills on our main character. Now this time around, Uber Lab is going to be very effective on getting our block cap, so I highly recommend you complete your Uber Lab as fast as you can. So that is going to be it for the passive tree and ascendancy choices. For our Pantheon, we have Lunaris and Ruthkul. I like to swap out Ruthkul for Shakari when I'm doing content with poison damage. Mainly the hunter, but it's gonna be less often with the new in-game system, but we're gonna have to see what we are gonna face and then change our pantheons accordingly. For our bandits, we have 2 passive points. Of course, this is a minion build, you don't need anything else from the other bandits. Now let's get into the skill section. So here are first on the body armor, I have actually labeled the skills where they go. So on our body armor, we have our Race Spectre linked with Spell Echo, Minion Damage, Predator, Faster Casting, and Lightning Penetration. This is gonna be your 6 link for your slave drivers. You can also try to go for Hypothermia because enemies will be chilled from all of the Skitterbots effect. So that's another option if you can get a 6 link with all blues. Okay, now the second one is going to be on our weapon or our wand. That is going to be a trigger one. We're gonna put Desecrate, Bone Offering, and Life Tap. Very important that you put Life Tap with level 3. Don't level this up too much, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of life when you are casting this skill. So we put Life Tap because of the increased mana cost of Desecrate and Bone Offering when you put them into the trigger wand. So that way we can get more mana to be reserved and not worry about those skills not being casted. Bone Offering is gonna give a lot of block chance to your minions, and half of them are gonna be on the character or our main character to get ourselves close to the block chance or spell block chance as much as we can get, that is. Next up is going to be the helmet slot. We're gonna put our Stone Golem, Animate Guardian with Feeding Frenzy and Elemental Army. Now, Elemental Army is somewhat questionable, I think, but they do apply exposure, so this is gonna be good for the Spectre version, but we will not need it on the skele mage version, and we're gonna replace this with Minion Life. And that is going to be it for the helmet. I did not consider any AG gear on this build at the moment because I don't think on league start situation you're gonna be getting a lot of AG gear. So just slap on whatever low budget animate guardian gear you can afford, and you can use an animate guardian with that. If it dies, it dies, it doesn't really matter. Okay, then on our shield or weapon slot 2, we have generosity linked with wrath. This is going to be our main aura for our specters, and it's going to change to zealotry when we switch into skele mages. The third slot of the weapon 2 is going to be determination, the aura for our defenses. Then on first unset ring, we're going to put convocation. On our second unset ring, we're going to put conductivity. We're going to manually cast it. Then on our gloves, we have flame dash linked to second wind. And of course, we have steel skin and Val haste on the other 2 slots of our gloves. Now, we are not going to be using haste as an aura. We're going to be only using the Val portion of the haste aura for some quick boss DPS. So if we enable Val haste here, our DPS jumps to like 1.1 million. So that's a good buff to be used in boss fight situations. Then we have on our boot slot, we have skitterbots with unbound ailments. So they apply more chill and shock effect. And then this new thing that is coming with 3.17 is going to be the blessing support. So what blessing support does is it allows an aura to be cast as a skill on yourself as a buff. So we can have zealotry for free, and that is gonna boost our damage by a lot. So blessing is not implemented into the POB yet. So we will technically have 1.1 million DPS with zealotry up. So how blessing is gonna be used? It's basically we're gonna craft a benchcraft mod on our amulet that says skills cost no mana when we focus. So we're gonna use focus, and then since during the focus period skills will not cost mana, so we're gonna activate zealotry during that focus period, and we're gonna have 10 seconds of zealotry buff on for all of our minions. And this focus has a cooldown of 8 seconds with a duration of 4 seconds. So we will have 2 seconds of downtime during this recast period or whatever you say. So with a 2-second downtime, we have permanent zealotry aura, which is amazing. This is one of the best changes that is coming for minion builds. So if we toggle zealotry on, and then we also use a Val haste, our DPS jumps close to 1.5 million Shaper DPS. So right now I am disabling these because the new blessing support is not into the POB yet. So when the POB gets updated, I will also update the POB link for the video description. So that is going to be it for the support gems and skill gem and links and everything for our Spectre. And then for the items, we're gonna rush to get one of these weapons for our build very fast. We need a weapon, one-handed weapon that you can equip within your attribute requirements that has +1 level of all spell skill gem and a open prefix to craft trigger socketed spell when you use a skill. We do not require any other mod on our item as a starting base. So these weapons cost around like 1 alchemy to 1 chaos orb, so they are extremely cheap. They're extremely easy to get even on day 1. So this is gonna be pretty easy to get. For our weapon 2, I included the Magna Eclipse Pinnacle Tower Shield because this gives level 20 Elemental Aegis, which is another layer of defense. But if this is expensive, we can always go with Lionized Remorse. This is quite cheap, and you can even farm this yourself with Lion Eye cards that can be farmed in Act 6. So if even this is out of your budget, just grab a Victorious Charity and be done with it, or any rare shield will do as well. But for the video purposes of POB, I'm gonna put Magna Eclipse on there. For our helmet, I actually added a bone helmet, but this is not gonna be needed. You need a helmet that has +2 level of socket and minion gems, and then life and resistances, and everything else is unnecessary, to be honest. So don't get too frustrated or by the bone helmet elder item, elder influence bone helmet or whatever it is. I'll change that when I post the POB. On our body armor, you want a body armor with 6 blue sockets. So Val Regula or any kind of intelligence based body armor is going to be the choice here, and you want a lot of life and resistances. For our gloves, same resistances and life. Boots, Bones of Uldir, try to get them with 15% increased movement speed. This is gonna give +1 level of all race Spectre gems, and this is pretty easy to get. You might find one yourself during mapping or during your act progressions. Now, amulet, you want a citrine based amulet or any amulet that gives at least dexterity. In this amulet, they are changing a lot of mods now. +1 amulets and +2 amulets don't require influences, so +1 level of all skill gems, this is going to be actually changed. This mod +1 level of all intelligence skill gems will become +1 level of all skill gems. So that mod and a jade amulet or citrine amulet is going to be very, very cheap. I think they're going to be very, very cheap, or if not cheap but not very expensive at all. You can get them pretty easily, and with this +1 amulet, +1 wand, and +1 boot combined with the Ascendancy and a level 20 Spectre gems get us to level 25 Spectre gems to summon our 4 Spectres very easily during this league. So other stat on your amulet, you're gonna be looking for life and a open slot to craft the skills cost no mana or life while focused mod. This is a veiled mod that you can get from syndicate encounters and unveiling items from syndicate, so which should be easy to get as well. For our rings, you want unset rings, very crucial. You want life and resistances, and of course the attributes necessary. You want dexterity and strength. Either you get them on amulet or you get them on the rings. As for belt, darkness and throne, best belt for any minion build. 2 sockets. I actually put all of the sockets with minions deal increased damage if you have used a minion skill recently, and with life you can go with one of the other stats, because combination of these 2 stats and Abyss Jewel might be a bit expensive on the league start. And then I also included a anatomical knowledge cobalt jewel on this tree, on this specific spot over here, but this is also not needed. You can go with anything else like a rare jewel. So, and I did not include flasks, but the flask choice is gonna be a mana flask, life flask, granite flask, quartz flask, or jade flask, and then a quicksilver flask. I'll include them when I post the POB on YouTube video description. So that is gonna be it for the Spectre League starting build, and now I'm gonna show you the transition of the skele mage build. And now here is the skeleton mages version of the POB. As you can see, we are rocking a whopping 75% block and spell block chance with a bit low life, but because there aren't that many gears on this build, this is roughly finished. It's not polished at all. I made a double cluster setup with a low amount of life but a lot more damage. We are getting around 9 million damage with Val Summon Skeletons up. The skills portion is complete, but the itemization is not yet done. The main things to look out for is going to be a Flesh Crafter and Alberon's Warp Path combined with a Dread Reckoning Jewel with Fortress Covenant and Quickening Covenant, plus all the clusters, Ghastly Eye Jewels, and everything else. But this build is doing a lot of damage. But I will be changing this build on the fly when I play this. So when I post an update video on the skele mages, I will post my build but that is going to be like 1 week into the league. So tree wise it's mostly the same. The ascendancies also stay the same, but we just swap around pathing from the middle and we go up for more clusters, and on the left side we go for more clusters as well. We take glancing blows because of the shaper shield that we get on recover 5% of life when you block, so that lets us take advantage of glancing blows to get block cap. We also anoint grape pack because I don't want to path through this, but I don't know if this is optimal. I have to test it more. Maybe anointing death attunement might be a better choice, but that is going to be it for the skele mages for now. I do have to kind of polish this a lot, but I will upload this POB right now on the current video of League Start, because so that you guys can have some ideas on what type of tree that you're gonna be aiming for on when you get some more and more exalts, or maybe a bit more investment into the build. So that is gonna be it for my personal League Starter on the 3.17 the Siege of the Atlas League. And now some other suggestions that I can give on league starting is going to be a poison build. You can go for Junorgan's, I hope I pronounce his name right. You can go for his Nightblade, Claw, Poison, Spectral Helix, and Perfect Agony build, which seems to be very, very good in terms of DPS, but a Spectral Helix is kind of controversial skill. That might be a bit clunky to play, but it's still really, really good. Or you can go for Poisonous Concoction, Pathfinder, or Champion. I don't recommend going Occultist because it's a bit harder and trickier to play. Other than that, you can also go for the popular on-demand Explosive Arrow. Any version works, like Hierophant, Radar, Champion, you name it, it has the Explosive Arrow built into it. But it's gonna be, I think Explosive Arrow is gonna be on top of meta, so gears might be a bit expensive on that end. Other thing is Seismic Trap and Exsanguinate Trap Saboteur, which seems to be avoiding all the nerfs that GG throws at it, so it might still be the best bossing skill of this league again. Also, if you want to play it safe with trappers, Ice Trap is going to be really good. Badger just released a guide on Ice Trap, which looks very, very promising. And Path of Math also released his updated version on the Saboteur, Saboteur guide, which is also really good. Other builds that come into mind is going to be Captain Lance's Inquisitor with Arc and the Self-Cast, but I want to stay away from Self-Cast right now because I don't know how good they are. So that is going to be it for the League Start suggestions right now. If I have more ideas, I will post another video, but this is going to be it mostly for the League Start, and I wish everyone a happy journey on the new Siege of the Atlas expansion. Stay safe, Exiles, and have a great time on the new league.